You've been listening to the Voices of Faith Transforming the Community with the Saginaw African American Pastors on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on this show by the host, its guests, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Connoisseur Media, or its advertisers.
Good afternoon and welcome to Voices of Faith Transforming the Community. This program is brought to you every week at this time through the facilities of this wonderful station and this wonderful media organization. And we are Saginaw African American Pastors. The group Saginaw African American Pastors is known as SAP in the Greater Saginaw County region. We are a Christian faith group. We're dedicated to addressing racial, social, and economic justice at all levels in the community. We also are engaged with faith, strength, and boldness, and to ensure that racial equity is the experience of all citizens in Saginaw County. We engage, we advocate, and we collaborate. We engage in intentional conversations with leaders and decision makers at the highest level of every critical sector of the community to address and correct racial injustices. And we advocate for systemic changes that eliminate biases and prejudices toward the community, the Black community, and in every sector of the community, especially policing, employment, and banking and housing. And we collaborate with community and faith-based organizations, and agencies, and entities, those groups that seek to eliminate racial injustice in Saginaw County. And we take concrete steps through practical engagement toward racial equity. My name is Hurley Coleman, Bishop Hurley J. Coleman Jr. I am the pastor at World Outreach Campus Church in Saginaw, Michigan. And I, along with the many other members of the Saginaw African American Pastors, are actively engaged in trying to make sure that we not only expose the services and programs and leaders that we have, but we also introduce you to individuals who are making such significant impact on our community. And today is a day where we're doing exactly that. I am pleased to be able to bring to you, to introduce to some and present to others, our new President and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce, Eugene Seals Jr. He is an incredible leader and is making this community and us so proud by serving in this community and at this level. Brother Seals, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
How do you feel about that introduction, man? It's President and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce.
It's a good one. It makes me want to go back out and go shoot some jump shots.
Many of you may know him. He has an incredible history. He's one of our community's greatest basketball players in his high school days, and he comes from a tremendous family. He matriculated, went to college, and had some designs on his life. But his family is a lot like my family. We have a great spiritual hand on our lives. And Gene, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself? Tell us about you, your family, and where you come from.
Yeah, so definitely born and raised here in Saginaw. And, I'm number 7 of 8 children to Dr. Eugene and former Mayor Joyce Seals.
7 of 8 children. You're
Yes.
almost the baby.
Almost the baby. So I'm the only boy. They tried to get me a little brother.
Oh, man.
And I ended up with another sister. So they said, we're done. So I ended up being the only boy. But I obviously went to school here, started at Salina Elementary, went to South Middle School, and then Saginaw High School. And so graduated from Saginaw High with a lot of different awards in sports and academics.
What sports did you play?
I played, so I started with football. That was the first one. Didn't play football long, ended up going into track and cross country and basketball. So my mom saw me get hit one time and never wanted me to play football again.
I know your mom, man. I know your mom, man. But you did say that your father has a tremendous story of
Yes.
His life, and some people in my generation remember him as a teacher at Buena Vista, and then one day he just decided he wanted to be a doctor.
Yes. So my dad had a dream when he was 4 years old, and he told his family and told his friends at school when he got into school, I'm going to be. I saw myself in a white long jacket, and it had Dr. Seals, Eugene Seals on it, MD. And at 4 years old, he didn't know exactly what that meant, but he saw himself as a doctor. And they would always tease him and say, "No, you're going to be a trash man." And they actually called him the name of the local trash man. And so that was kind of the joke is, you're going to be a trash man. You'll never be a doctor. And so he lived and kept believing in the dream that he had. And years and years later, he ended up turning down an opportunity to be the first African-American on Michigan's basketball team.
Is that right?
To continue his dream as being a doctor. Back in the 60s, he was going to be one of the first African-Americans to play on Michigan's basketball team. And so he turned that down, had an opportunity to fulfill his dream. And he did that. He fulfilled his dream. His professors told him he would never make it.
Wow.
And this was after being a teacher in the Buena Vista School District for over 12 years, 15 years. And he went back to school. He came home, told my mom, not to her delight, that he was going back to school when we have a family of, 10, basically. So 2 parents and 8 kids. And family of 10, he said, "I'm going back to school." Wow. So on one salary, we were living on one salary while he was in school.
My goodness.
Yes, so we made it work. You talk about bringing the family close together.
Yeah.
We made it work, and now he is Dr. Seals, and he even has my sister as another doctor in the family. One of my sisters went into the family business, medical school, and she is doing great here in Saginaw County as well.
You mentioned your family. Your mother is former Mayor Joyce Seals, and she is. I call her one of Saginaw's energizer women. She is a dynamic, incredible leader and worker in the community. I don't know how she does it on so many committees. And your parents are just tremendous, and we acknowledge and appreciate them. But your family, your parents' family are a significant family in the community and have done great things. Your grandfather,
yes,
like my father, were some of the leading pastors in the community in the early days that I remember in the 70s. The Aldridge Church, the Aldridge family, the singing family, man, just so many wonderful things between the Aldridges and Colemans. And there were 10 of us, in our family, and your church family. So what was it like growing up in a church family? Because your family has always been, your father and your father and mother are co-pastors. They're pastors right now.
Correct.
And yes. So what is it like growing up in a church family?
Well, you spent every day at the church. So you knew that going into it. I didn't know it wasn't normal until
I know that feeling. Yeah.
I didn't know it wasn't normal until I would, my first opportunity is to go stay at a friend's house, because my parents really didn't believe in that, because not all my friends, attended church, and not all of them were believers. And if they don't know the parents, right, there's no opportunity for you to stay at anyone else's house.
That's a whole. If they didn't
right,
go to church, you would.
No, you're definitely not going.
Right.
And so the only thing they can do is come to your house, and guess what? They're going to church. So we thought it was normal. Monday, a Monday missionary meeting. Tuesday was choir practice. Wednesday we were just at church for usually some type of Bible study. Yep. Thursday was a different choir's practice. Friday we would go to church, so just to kind of spend time with my granddad, help make sure the church was together for Sunday service. Saturday sometimes we didn't go, but you usually had to go for practices, for praise team or program, yeah, or setting up. So it was every day of the week we were in church.
Not to mention Sunday all day.
Sunday it was multiple services.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't always just your service.
That's right.
We would go out of town and visit our other sister churches out of town, and or in town. If someone had a night service, we were at someone else's church. So it was church 7 days a week.
So you grew up and you had an intention, you had an idea that you were going to be a doctor as well, right?
I did. That was the plan, is to follow in my dad's footsteps. And my dad and I, being the only two guys in the house, we had
There was six girls. I had six sisters and the three brothers, and the females in the house, they were just overwhelmed the house, man.
Yes.
And you and your dad were the only guys. Oh man,
5 o'clock in the morning, we had to get up and go and share the bathroom, because if you didn't get in up at that time, you had no time to get ready. I enjoyed it a lot more when most of my sisters were gone. Being so much younger, they were graduating and leaving the house. I enjoyed it a lot more when they were gone, because I could get the bathroom to myself.
Yeah.
So, but that was the way it started off. So my dad and I got really close. So I wanted to kind of be in following his footsteps. And I turned that, kind of changed my mind once I got to college, because I still did go into science. I still did do a double major in science fields. And it didn't work with the schedule that I had for basketball. Mm-hmm. So while I'm playing basketball, we were out of town a lot. We were missing classes a lot. I had a tutor that had to travel with me because I was so behind in my classes, and it just was so hard.
What college did you go to?
Miami University in Ohio. Okay. Yeah, so I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and so I decided to go into a different field. Instead of medical, I just stayed in the science. So I have a bachelor's in science now.
And your bachelor's in science led you into what fields in your professional life?
So originally Parks and Recreation.
I'm happy about Parks and
Recreation.
Yes,
I knew you would like that one. But Parks and Recreation was the initial start, because I had a Bachelor of Science in Health, and then Sports Organization was the second one. And so that got me into either being an athletic director or being in some form of Parks and Recreation.
My degree was Parks and Recreation Administration, but it was in the Department of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation, which is hyper. And that's how you get those connections. But you found yourself gravitating more toward parks because of what? Because availability of position?
Availability of the position, and also the opportunity to, my mom kept me in so many different positions and forced me to volunteer. I was voluntold a lot. And so it was kind of where I grew up. I grew up in those positions of summer programs and Bible studies. And so I had to do that usually for the younger kids. So they would use us to help communicate with the younger kids. And because of that, I had a comfort.
Yeah.
It was a comfort level. And so when the position came available after Lou Dawkins had just left the position to be into the school system, there was an opening, and I was able to look into that and then get the position.
So there you go. And you started off on that career path. It as I think about it, there's a scripture that says in Proverbs, it says a man's gift will make room for him and bring him before great men. Along the way, can you identify that there were people who had an impact or influence on the next steps that you wound up taking in your life?
Absolutely. So starting, the first person was Reg Robinson. It started with basketball and sports, period. So he kind of taught me, the level of work that it was going to take to get to where I wanted to go. So he always asked the question, where do you want to go? And so it started with the question of, if you want to get there, what are you going to do to make sure you get there? And so he set the determination and the processes that was going to be needed later in life. So that was the first step, is me learning what processes were to get to achieve goals that I had. After that, you had people like Coach Marshall Thomas.
Coach T.
He taught me, like, as far as manhood, this is the way things are supposed to go. If you give your word, you stick to your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it, and you give 100%. And one of his biggest things was never let anybody outwork you.
Yeah.
And so you go from there, and all of this is mostly sports. And then you go from there, and then I get into college, and obviously my dad was always there. And one of his biggest things was you never can be okay with just giving 100%.
Mm.
You know, 100% is not enough, especially a young black male in society today. You know, you understand that 100% you need to give more. And then the other thing was understanding also that, you know, I may not be looked upon as what I truly am, but I need to be looked upon as the work that I put in. So even though they'll see you as a black male who sometimes isn't always considered to what they really can do and who they are, I had to take all of that and make it to where my effort level was so high that people couldn't deny me.
Couldn't ignore that.
They couldn't deny it. So and he just always said, whatever you do, do it as if you're doing it for God.
Wow.
My beautiful wife in high school, and we didn't date or anything in high school. We just knew each other. It wasn't until, for me, after college that I had an opportunity to reconnect with her, and we just kind of hung out. We actually dated for 10 years.
What?
We dated for 10 years, and then we got married. We have 2 beautiful children, my daughter, Elle, my son, Noah, and my beautiful wife, Lauren. So, yeah, that was, it was almost one of those things where after you look at it now, you say it was kind of meant to happen. You know, God kind of put his hand on that one, because not only did I always think she was beautiful, she was the type of person that I was always looking for. You know, everyone has a person that kind of fits them, and she's the person that fits me.
It's interesting that you said when you look back, you can see that it was almost designed to be. And you grew up in a faith home. And this is Saginaw African American Pastors. We're a Christian faith organization of pastors and pastors' families and churches. I've got a couple more minutes in this segment. Can you just tell me how much your faith of a role your faith has played in the path your life has taken?
Faith has always been number one. Everything that I've done through basketball, through business, and all of my positions has always been with the guise of faith being the first thing. And so that's always been number one. They say raise up a child and they won't stray away from it. Well, that's my life.
This is Voices of Faith Transforming the Community, our weekly program of Saginaw African American Pastors. Today we're talking with one of Saginaw's great leaders, and I keep wanting to call him a young man, but you grown, you fully grown, man. And you still a young man to me. That's that old song. You're still a young man, but what you represent for us in our community, especially in the faith community. You come from a faith family. Your parents are actively engaged in ministry. Your family, extended family, is actively engaged in ministry. Your aunt's a co-pastor. Your another aunt is one of the premier musicians and singers in the community. And as we close out this segment, what would you say to persons who are looking to advance in their professional life about the necessity of having faith?
I think if you're thinking of any type of building, you always want to talk about the foundation. And the Bible talks about it, having a strong foundation. And if you want to be successful in life, you have to build onto something strong. And the rock that I've chosen to build my foundation on is that of faith. Faith first.
And it has served you well.
Very well.
This is Saginaw African American Pastors, Voices of Faith, Transforming the Community. We're going to take a brief break here and come back. I'm so excited to be sitting here with Eugene Seals. You've heard about him as a person. We're going to talk about him as a professional and what he's done in the community. He is now the president and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. Stay with us. Why don't you tag somebody or reach out to someone? Like, I'm sure that you know how to invite them, that they won't miss the rest of this great conversation. So thank you for listening, and come back and stay with us. We'll be back in just a few moments. We are back. Voices of Faith, Transforming the Community. I am Bishop Hurley J. Coleman Jr., the president of Saginaw African American Pastors. I'm also a servant leader and pastor at World Outreach Campus Church of God in Christ here in Saginaw, Michigan. I'm sitting with this incredibly exciting young leader, and I keep calling him young, even though he's at least 25, 30 years old, but I keep calling him young. We are excited to be sitting with none other than the president and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce, Eugene Seals Jr. Well, we've been having a great conversation. I've loved to hear how you have come, your personal life, and people need to know the backstory, that you didn't just show up. But let's talk about your professional career. Where did you start when you came back from college and started working? How did you talked about engagement with the athletic program in the school, but what about Gene, the professional?
Yeah, so my first job as a professional was actually Parks and Rec director in Buena Vista. So that was my first job, and I was blessed to be able to do that for 3 years, right around the time of the housing crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I left there and went back overseas to continue playing professional basketball. After doing that for an additional 3 years, I came back home, started working with Verizon Wireless, and just to give me something to do, I thought, turned into a 7-year.
Really, 7-year stint.
7-year stint with Verizon Wireless, where I won a lot of awards and did a lot of great things.
What kind of thing were you doing with Verizon?
So I sold cell phones. I was one of the, for 3 years, I was in the top 2% of sales in Verizon Wireless.
In the nation?
In the nation.
Wow,
I was in the top 2% of the nation. I had gone on 3 trips, in congratulatory trips for
that's a lot of
making
phones,
it.
Man.
That's a lot of phones, a lot of tablets, a lot of internet, but that was my job. After I left there, I had an opportunity to work at Saginaw Valley as a basketball coach. Did that for a couple of years. Also coached at Bridgeport, Heritage, Saginaw United, for boys or the girls varsity basketball teams.
Wow.
And then had an opportunity that opened up with a medical device company. I did that for 3 years. It was great. The money was great. It was stressful. So I just didn't really enjoy the stress level of that.
Quotas and stuff.
I didn't enjoy the quotas, and but the money was great.
Yeah.
And so I did that until I had an opportunity open up with the Bay City Chamber.
No kidding.
The opportunity that I applied for was actually the Bay City Chamber of Commerce.
Really?
And for their sales position.
How about that?
And so knowing how good I've done in the past in sales, and all the awards that I received in sales, I said I could do this in Bay City.
Now there may be people who are listening and thinking about the Chamber of Commerce. What is it that you sell in the Chamber of Commerce?
So the best thing that I like to do is we sell the relationship. And so it's not an actual sell. We are a membership-based organization, so yes, we are selling a membership, but you have the opportunity to network with other businesses more so than you will ever have on your own. So if you decided to do, I'm going to do this on my own, I don't need the chamber, you can do it. You could be successful. And I would tell you, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, if you come into the chamber network, it's almost guaranteed success if you put in the effort.
It is a network.
It is a huge network. We have almost 1,000 member businesses that are there for you to rub shoulders with, to do business with, to make connections with. It is a huge opportunity for any business that wants to grow.
So the Chamber of Commerce is its own kind of entity, and there was a Bay City Chamber of Commerce that's probably the
Yes.
chambers of commerce are county based, right?
Mostly. So you have some that are regional, but mostly they're county or city based.
So you started in sales at Bay City.
Well, I applied in Bay
City.
And the current, well, not current, but the former CEO president of the Bay City Chamber say, Eugene, I think you should work in Saginaw. And initially I wanted to be upset about it because I'm a competitor. And he basically told me that I couldn't be successful in Bay City. And that's not what he was saying. What he was telling me is you have the connections, you have the know-it-all, you have the body of work that would make me more successful in Saginaw. And that's what he was telling me. So initially I wanted to be upset because he was telling me that a black man couldn't make it in Bay City, and that's not what he was saying.
And that's a great lesson right now.
Yes.
Take a moment, Gene, because I'm sure that there are people who have dealt with things that they got turned down from and felt like that was a denial, but every delay is not a denial.
That's correct.
And if especially if you have a faith foundation,
right?
Talk about how you move from that point to the next thing.
Well, he and I, because I wanted him to expound on it, so he and I had a conversation, and we talked about it, and he explained himself, and he let me know that there's a position that will be opening up in Saginaw, and he thought I didn't even need to apply for it. He thought it would be okay he asked me if it'd be okay for him to contact Saginaw,
really,
to say, I have a candidate for you.
Wow.
And so he called Saginaw. I never applied for the position in Saginaw.
And you know that has to be divine.
It was divinely set up from the beginning. My connection to him through basketball, because I trained his daughter who ended up playing college basketball. So I helped her get into college. And so that gave him and I a connection.
Despise not the day of small things.
That's right. Everything added up for us to come to this point. So he connected me with Veronica. Veronica brought me in for an interview. And from what my staff says is the moment I walked out of the interview, they said, that is our guy.
I sung at Veronica Horn's funeral. I mean, at her wedding.
Oh.
At her wedding. I sung at her wedding. When Veronica Horn, Joanne Carreri and I were working together in Saginaw County. And I think I sung at Joanne's wedding, and I think I sung at I sang at Joanne's wedding and her other sister's wedding. But those sisters, they did a lot of tremendous things in this region.
Absolutely.
And so you were able to connect from Bay City to Saginaw, and you started out in a sales position in Saginaw County
Yes.
Chamber. How long did you do that?
I did that for about 3.5, almost 4 years, in sales, so sponsorships and membership sales. So that was my position for 3.5 years. After that, we heard about there being an opportunity for this position, the president and CEO position. Veronica I told her every year that I wanted to be a president and CEO, but I wasn't asking for it here. I was saying I was willing to move and do it elsewhere.
So you were open with your ambitions, but you were also allowing yourself to be taught and trained and tutored.
And Veronica did it. She took me everywhere. She introduced me to a lot of people. And this was probably a year heading into me applying for the position. She took me to all the legislative luncheons around the area. So Genesee, Bay City, Midland. She took me to all of those. She introduced me to all of the legislators that she knew, and things just kind of, she prepared me beforehand, and she set the table. So when the job came available, there was no other candidate better
Something
than me.
about your upbringing, something about your life allowed you or gave you the opening or the attitude that you could you could actually receive training and tutelage and uh, be under the leadership of someone. I say all the time that the best leaders are people who are great supporters.
Hmm.
If you learn how to be a great subordinate, you can really be a wonderful leader. And that seems to be what happened when the time came that the position as the president came open. You applied for it, and you were awarded that position.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You think about just in sports in general, if you, the leader on the team is the number one subordinate under the coach. So if you're the leader on the team, you are the number one subordinate under the coach. And me coaching now, I'm a subordinate under an athletic director. And so just understanding that dynamic, I know that they're in learning through sports and through my faith, I understand that I've never made it. I'm always working towards the goal.
Yeah.
And in faith, I'm working towards the goal to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And in sports, if you ever feel like you've made it, you've already lost. And so I had to be humble myself to know that I don't know everything, and to take the teaching from Veronica, and she was a great teacher, and I had to take it from her, and she taught me a lot of how to prepare for this position. She didn't get to train me because she did end up getting sick,
Mm-hmm.
and but the pre work that she set up, that foundation that she set up for us, made it to where now I'm on a sturdy ground now.
Well, you made me think of a scripture, and I can't help myself. I'm a preacher, and the Apostle Paul says in one place, he said, "I count not myself to have apprehended. I haven't made it yet, neither have I obtained. But one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind me, I press toward the mark of the prize."
Mhm.
He never ever claimed, until he got to the end when he said, "I've finished my course." But all the way from that point, he always was pressing toward it. Like you're saying, that you're still learning. You are the first African American president and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. How old is the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce?
163 years.
In 163 years, you are the first African American president and CEO, and this is something else that's unique. And you're a native of Saginaw County.
That's correct.
That's unique, isn't it?
It is very unique, because a lot of them, they do searches throughout the nation, and even for my position, there was a national search done, and I still came out to be one of the top candidates.
And then through the interview process, you were selected.
Yes.
I don't think that that's something that can be ignored, especially in the day like today, when people are trying to find points of light and points of hope and points of encouragement, to know that in our community, one of the most important roles, one of the most important positions in the business environment, in the economic environment, the Chamber of Commerce leader, the president and CEO, is a homegrown, native born, faithful, and faith living young man, African American from Saginaw, Michigan, Eugene Seals, with a storied and historic family connection and community connection. When you work throughout the community, it's obvious, and I know this because of my interaction with a lot of people. There are a lot of generational leaders in
Yes.
business,
Yes.
people who have followed their parents and other people. How do you interact with generational leaders, being a generational person yourself?
It makes it a little easier, actually, because they are familiar. There's a level of familiarity, not in a bad way, but a good way. because they come with a level. It comes with a level of respect
And comfort.
and comfort. They understand almost what you are about before you talk to them. They understand your integrity. They understand your heart for the community. They understand your level of detail. They understand everything that's about you because they've seen you or heard of you, or they know your parents. Very similar to your family.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing that when they see me, they think of my dad and my mom. They think of my grandfather and my grandmother.
Yeah.
And in some cases, some people even knew my father's parents, military background, and another teacher. So they think of them when they see me, and they say, "Hey, I know your parents, or I know your aunt, or I know someone in your family." And so that level of comfort kind of puts people at ease, because I know he comes from good stock. I know he's going to be a good person.
I'm taking some liberties here, but I just want to make sure that I can say this because me personally, our families have grown up together, and I get a kick out of the fact that you, Eugene Seals Jr., and my son Hurley Coleman the third are in leadership roles in our community at this in this time at this given time, and you guys get a chance to interact, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
What does that feel like, knowing the histories there?
For me, it's great. It's great because I know the relationship from my parents with you, my aunts and uncles with you, and so to see and to think about that, him and I have even talked about it before. It's like we're here now
Yeah.
in places where our parents were.
Yeah.
We've taken the mantle now, and it's our turn to take it and advance it forward, to move it up and to move it forward. So
And you guys are doing such a great job. I can't stress our audience. I need you all to understand how significant it is for us. And to you, if those of you who are watching this on Facebook and those who are listening on your radio, I'm talking to the president and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. He's one of our own, and he is a community person. I watch his interaction, and it is not a matter of you being a black man doing the job. You're a man doing the job, and your peer relationships, and you carry it so well. And what are you learning about the future, man? We need so much more time, because there's so much about what you do that portends, that looks toward the future. What are you learning about the future of this region in your role?
I can tell you we are in a mode of growth. And I hope that all people of Saginaw County are ready for this type of growth that we're about to. It's already started, and not everyone knows the level of what's going to come, and so we're in a mode of growth. It's going to move like a train. Once it gets started, it's going to be really hard to stop it, which is a great thing for us. With the medical diamond. There's some other big projects, I wouldn't say similar, but very big projects that are going to happen in conjunction to the medical diamond. So the east side of the river in downtown is going to look totally different in 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
It will not look the same.
How can people get involved at the chamber? I mean, is it only businesses, or how does a person get involved in the chamber?
Yes. So yes, we are a member business organization, and so businesses, so people who own businesses can join the chamber by visiting www.saginawchamber.org. In the top right corner, there'll be a section that'll say home, join, or log in. You can join right there online, or you can call us at 757-2112, and that'll get you to my administrative assistant, and they'll be able to talk you through the opportunities that are available.
And you really encourage people in our community. If there is a restaurant, you got a small business. For instance, if you're in this SVRC and you got a booth and you're a business,
Absolutely,
and you can be a part of the Chamber of Commerce and the networking benefits. What about churches? What about organizations like ours, like we have a nonprofit, we do a lot of things. Is there a place for us to connect with the chamber?
Absolutely. Nonprofits usually do the best. And the reason why is because the people that you need to further your nonprofit to get where you're trying to go, they are in the chamber network. And so everyone you need to talk to when you're looking for funding or for assistance in programs, volunteers,
Partnerships.
partnerships, all of that is already in the chamber. So nonprofits do the best, but churches definitely can succeed being part of the chamber.
I'm glad that we have an opportunity to have this conversation because I really wanted people to know you. It's like one of my heart desires is that people really like get to know them that labor among you, and just to understand that there's no such thing as an overnight success.
No.
That was a path to get you from where you were to where you are now.
Yes.
And we've had an opportunity to talk about that. We can come to the closing moments here. Jane, is there anything that you just like to say about this conversation, about this moment, about what you see as a result of our conversation today?
I just really think people just need to understand that you start with the foundation before you do anything else. Start with the foundation of faith. God is the rock that you need to build your house, your life, everything upon. And so start there and then move into whatever else that you want to do in life.
This is Voices of Faith, transforming the community. My name is Hurley Coleman. I'm serving as the president of SAP right now, and thankful to God that He's blessed us to be here in this time. And with all the things that's going on in this world, all the challenges that people have, and the desperate moments that we see, there is glimmers of hope and points of encouragement. And Eugene Seals is one of those. He's the president and CEO of the Saginaw County Chamber of Commerce. And I'm happy that you took the time to be with us. And I hope the community, whenever they see you, whenever they hear you, will respond to what you're doing. And the Saginaw African American pastors will continue to be that voice in the community, trying to help transform for better worlds and better days. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you for the audience for tuning in. Look forward to being with you again next week. God bless you.
You've been listening to the Voices of Faith Transforming the Community with the Saginaw African American Pastors on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on this show by the host, its guests, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Connoisseur Media, or